like my nerd look today?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really look that different from any other day.
Brought out my 5 head.
I didn't. We're not. Oh, no, now we are.
Are
Got
we
it.
live?
Got it. It said we're live.
Hi, Internet.
Hey there, Internet.
How are you?
Welcome to episode 187 of the Outrage Factory.
Go 187 on a motherfucking cop.
I like how we said that had to be deleted, and then you're like, I don't want people thinking I'm a Sublime fan.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that I condone killing yourself with heroin like the singer of Sublime did.
Damn.
Leaving behind his family because
You
he's
went
an
hard on-
irresponsible dickhead.
You went hard on that one.
Yeah. I mean, is it too soon? It's only been, what, 100 years?
When was that? Like back in the 90s, right? It was just as they were getting famous.
Yeah.
Or actually, like, real famous. Like, hello?
Yeah. Sorry.
Like, actual whatever. It was the 90s. Hey, I'm your co-host, Eric Boland.
I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. We are going to see how long we last before the bomb cyclone takes us out. And did you hear there's supposed to be multiple feet of snow?
Multiple feet? Where? We're not in Vancouver.
No, it just said parts of Canada and parts of the US.
Oh,
so I'm thinking
it's very fucking broad geographical. It's like, in Alaska, they'll get lots of snow.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this, but the weather people who do weather stuff, they don't have pinpoint accuracy. They're like, this motherfucking thing's going to hit somewhere on the BC coast, maybe the island, maybe up north. You might feel it in Vancouver. You might not. You might just get wind. So we'll play it by ear. If we go black, that's what happened to us.
We will. Every time Coquitlam gets anything higher than like a slight breeze, a tree will blow into a transformer and knock out power for like 3 days. It's happened. I've lived here for like 5 or 6 years, and it's happened probably like a dozen times. Anytime there's like a slight windstorm, I lose power. So we'll see if we can get through this one.
Because you live on top of the mountain. And it's weird that anywhere that's civilized still has above ground power, like still has power poles. Like where I work in Richmond, the fucking people keep driving into the power poles because how about we design this? We have electricity. We're going to put it 20 feet in the air so people could just fucking hit it. And then we're going to put it on these wooden poles, and we're going to put those poles right beside where every single car drives. And then we'll just fucking see how long it takes before someone wraps a car around it and ruins electricity for everyone.
The other thing is that like, they're like, we're going to run this network of fucking electrical lines through the sky across the entire country. So you'll like go like hiking in like, the backcountry, and you'll like suddenly reach a clearing and you'll be like, oh, what is this? And it's just these gigantic fucking power poles for like miles, which is like, it's impressive that we could do that, but there's got to be a better way.
And then it's just like you walk up to them and you're in nature, like, oh, nature's nice. And then you get close to the power poles. It's like, and you're like, oh, that's probably not bad for us at all.
Oh, no, I'm definitely getting cancer from this. Yeah. From nature.
And I bet when they came up with this whole system, they're like, why don't we just put the cables underground? They're wrapped in plastic, and someone's like, that seems like a lot of work to dig. And they're like, you're right. Let's just do it with poles and then just fix it whenever they break. Yeah. So there's our old man. There's what grinds my gears.
Let's move the electricity underground.
Yeah.
That's going to be our big take for this episode.
Yes, it is. Our big take is everybody who does stuff is dumb, and I would have done it better 100 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that is really our one constant take throughout all 187 episodes of this podcast, is that everyone is dumb except us, and we have the good ideas, and everyone else has bad ideas.
I mean, if other people were smart, they'd have their own podcast, but they don't, because we're the only podcast going. So you're all dumb.
We're definitely the only one that matters.
Right. And you could tell how much we matter because of the numbers of people who watch us.
Yeah, and all the work we put into making this a quality
We're the
product.
reverse Nickelback. We're
Some-
so good, we're not popular. So do you want to talk about this conspiracy thing you put
I just
on the
want,
list?
yeah. Well, I saw this because,
I like conspiracy theories.
well, no, this is just like, I know you do. They released a study, basically, what, last week? I only saw this because a bunch of people on Twitter were like, look how good we are. And the study was basically like, they did a study of a correlation between which social media platforms you use and how likely you are to believe in conspiracy theories. And they found that people who used Twitter like prolifically were 3% less likely.
Oh, 3%
3% less likely to believe in conspiracy theories, whereas people who used Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, it was mostly Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp were 3% more. So that's like a 6% swing, which is not. It seems like a small number, but you're 3%. And the way these percentages work is they basically like they run a simulation, and let's say assuming there are multiverses, and there are 100 different versions of you in those multiverses. You still with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. 3 versions of you. If all the versions of you use Facebook, 3 versions of you in those multiverses are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. Whereas, what?
Wouldn't it be of the 100 people, the amount of people on Facebook would be 3 more than the amount?
Why are you fucking up my multiverse?
Believe in conspiracy
Well, no,
theories?
because it makes people like 3%. So it isn't even like there's a lift of 3 out of every 100 people on Facebook are more likely to believe in conspiracy theories. I think it's just more, it increases the likelihood of, Tennille's popping off in the comments saying,
the point I made before we started
the point Dale
recording.
made before we started
now
recording.
I can't even say it was my point because theoretically Tennille put it on the air before I did, but it was that how does WhatsApp count? Because that's just a messaging service. That's like saying what's the percentage of people on SMS texting believe in conspiracy theories?
Yeah. And I guess it all goes down to like who you are SMS texting or WhatsApping with, right? Like if you are in a circle of people who are inclined to believe in QAnon, and those are the people sending you messages on WhatsApp, then hey, Tennille, congratulations on what?
It's in our chat. Well, in case everybody doesn't know what's going on, in the chat on the Facebook group that we stream this through, beside your name, now all of a sudden it says how many years you've been following, and Tennille says 2 anniversary, which means she wasn't here for the first 2 years of us live streaming. Or I basically think it just means she liked our Facebook group 2 years ago, because mine says 4 anniversary follower.
Why does it
for Seguider de
Well, I was saying,
Aniversario?
do you see the Vietnamese one? Because I see a Vietnamese one for Tennille as well.
Yeah, it says it in all different languages, I guess, in case.
Because we're so multicultural.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I want to say about this conspiracy theory is my whole theory is that it's a conspiracy within a conspiracy theory, because I think people on Twitter are just too self-righteous to admit that they like conspiracy theories.
Well, I was going to say,
because of all of the platforms you named, Twitter is the one where people take themselves the most seriously.
And are the most self-righteous. I was gonna say that Twitter is actually correlated with it the other way. I will like occasionally log on to Twitter these days, and I always see people being like, oh my god, we're opening up to public events again, it's too soon. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's too soon. We're like 85% vaccinated. We're fucking 2 years into this thing. You feel it is still too soon for us to be opening up and allowing people to congregate. And that's like, I see that shit exclusively on Twitter. Whereas if I go on
Facebook, I was going to say Twitter is definitely the most Melvin social media platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the most like self-righteous people, but they all have to be like more self-righteous than the person who was self-righteous before them. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, I believe that unvaccinated people should be rounded up and put in gas chambers and like murdered.
We should just kill them all. That's what we should do.
That's the wokest thing to be. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, no, you probably
It's almost like people on Twitter virtue signal.
Dale.
Signal. Are we
Signal.
not say? I remember we said that at the beginning of this podcast, like a couple of years ago, and then every time I said that within the last 2 years, you get a little bit squirrely, like we're not allowed to say virtue signalers anymore.
No, it's true. We're allowed to say it now, but it's one of those
Okay.
things where it's like the people who do it the most. Same for the people who like cancel other people.
Mhm.
They'll be like virtue signaling and cancel culture don't exist, and if you say that, I'll know how toxic you are.
Oh, do you want to hear another conspiracy theory about Twitter?
Dale, do I ever?
Have you ever heard of the term dead internet?
No, tell me more.
So what this is, it's that and Twitter's supposed to be the worst, where all these like a lot of conspiracy theories complain to people with blue check marks and like despairingly like, oh, those blue check marks, because like they're mostly skew liberal and they mostly rail against right-wing beliefs, or like you were saying, like they're mostly the first ones to say we shouldn't be opening up, we should be locked down, we should punish people who aren't falling in line and stuff. But the dead internet conspiracy theory is that like 80% of those are false profiles, and they're not actually, they're like just AI bots that are like programmed to like skew to the left.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, you don't
really
believe it?
I don't believe that. Like, I believe there are 100% fucking bots on Twitter. I
Oh,
think both the right and the left know how to manipulate the internet for their own gain.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think that's just like limited to the left. But yeah, like absolutely there are leftist bots on Twitter just as well as rightist ones. Right wing. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what the big conspiracy theory is?
Yes.
Is that this is all just a fucking computer simulation, and we're just batteries for robots in pods right now, and we're all just hallucinating this. This is a simulation being fed into our brains as we sit in tanks and generate electricity from our bodies for our robot overlords in the future.
Like in the Matrix.
Oh, Dale! I've never heard of this movie before.
Like, did we just become Matrix shills because the fourth one's coming out? I wish that we were like paid a whole bunch of money by the marketing team of the Matrix 4, so we could just be like, yeah, so what if the Matrix is true?
What if? Do you think if the Matrix was true, the robots would allow us to talk about the Matrix in the simulation?
I think if the Matrix was true, we wouldn't have Zoom. We wouldn't have today's internet. We would have early 2000s internet.
And then they would have just capped it there.
Yeah, like right now we have too much free flow information. It's like the weird thing about conspiracy theories is like everybody has this idea that there's this like shadowy cabal running everything. And then it's like, well, then why the fuck did they make the internet where we can talk to each other and share ideas? Like they like a different conspiracy theories, like the Library of Alexandria, which was like the highest point of human knowledge before modern times, was burnt down and we lost all the knowledge that was in those books. But now we have stuff like Wikipedia, which basically if you want to know anything, you can go on Wikipedia. So it's like the internet is the modern day Library of Alexandria, where you could just find out whatever you want about whatever you want to know. So if there was a shadowy cabal, they wouldn't let you just go learn about stuff. But
yeah, but I also think, I feel like the original intent of the internet was to keep us like placate. Like it was basically like, oh, you know, cable TV isn't the opiate of the masses anymore. We need to give them something that can like feed them porn and feed them porn. And what else is the internet used for?
Aliens.
Feed them porn and porn
Aliens.
and some more porn.
It's porn, conspiracy theories, aliens, and then girls dressed up like aliens doing porn.
Yeah. Right. And then like social networking or what, like the ability to like talk to your friends. But I think it was like designed. I'm just saying if it plugs into this conspiracy theory that the idea that the internet, it was just designed to be this like opiate. And you see that all the fucking time with people just like
Mhm.
numbed out on their phones or like mindlessly scrolling Instagram for 12 hours a day or whatever the fuck else people do on the internet when they're not watching porn. Uh, which again, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm assuming this is what it is.
Yeah.
And it does keep people from like getting a little too unruly. But then there's some people who took that way to the other side and they exclusively use the internet to get really fucking unruly
Mhm.
and like spread these bizarro theories around.
Yeah, like what that Facebook whistleblower was saying, how it's all marketed. But I think like the whole everybody fighting on Facebook and stuff was like an accident that they didn't stop. It was like, oh, this is what everybody wants, so we'll just give them what they want. And it was like, and that's the whole like Twilight Zone irony of it is like, is the social media is like hurting our mental well-being, but it's because that's all we want to do is hurt our own mental well-being.
Yeah. We're just like, it's definitely it's self-harm. And
Yeah.
we all know it. It's not like there's like a shortage of information out there being like, social media is actually bad for your fucking brain and you
Yeah.
shouldn't be on it 12 hours a day
Mhm.
and you don't need to share every thought you have with a bunch of fucking virtual strangers for like their validation, but yet we continue doing it
Mhm.
knowing the irreparable harm it is doing to us.
Yeah, like it's all on our algorithms that we have set up and they get adjusted real time to give us whatever we click on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're just like everything we talk about and every conversation we have, it's all just like feeding data to our robot overlords in the Matrix. And they're using
Mhm.
that to adjust how we interact with the internet and like the ads that we see and the messages we see and the pages we interact with and whatever the fuck else.
You know what? You know what kind of I'm gonna drop a segue here to our next. Are we
Oh,
ready to move on?
damn. You know
I was
what?
gonna say, you know what's fucking up everybody's like anger algorithms and stuff because
What?
it's like it's kind of short circuiting the system. This
What?
whole Alec Baldwin thing.
Oh, fuck.
Because it's like the left people want to go against like Alec Baldwin. They're like, oh, is he going to get charged for murder and stuff? But Alec Baldwin has always been like a champion of the like anti-gun, like left-leaning rights. And then the right can't go after Alec Baldwin for doing this because it was the gun violence that everybody's scared of happening, where somebody accidentally gets shot with a gun under like bad circumstances. So it's like both sides are like just waiting to explode on this whole situation, but they're like, actually, fuck, let's see how this ends up.
Yeah. Well, it's also fucking weird that like a tragedy happens and the immediate rush is to like fucking be like, how can I manipulate this
Mm-hmm.
for my either my audience or my gain or whatever the fuck else. That was always like the most infuriating thing about Twitter to me back in the day is like every time a fucking celebrity died, everyone had to like rush to offer their thoughts on the celebrity dying and
Yeah.
how the celebrity
Thoughts and
had like
prayers.
had changed their life and like
Mm-hmm.
and they did it not to fucking share anything meaningful but to like pit themselves against everyone else tweeting the same shit about the same dead celebrity and see who could get the most likes on it.
And
And
to
it's like,
insert themselves into the conversation.
yeah, the Anthony Jeselnik, like
Yeah.
the don't forget about me.
Yeah. And it's like this one, it's like people can't even do that because they're like, because it's not it's not like immediately clear what's the right take on this whole situation. So nobody's willing to just fucking go in hands swinging and be like, this is what I think, because it's like, oh wow, this is actually a nuanced catastrophe. I don't know what to do, because it's like the assistant direct, I guess, okay, we didn't even explain what happened with Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin shot and killed a person.
So yeah, basically he was on set for his new movie Rust. He's a producer, whatever, in it, and he was doing the scene with a gun, and it was a prop gun, and the assistant director handed him a gun and he said, "This is a cold gun," or yelled "cold gun." That means that it doesn't have live ammo in it, but for whatever reason, the gun did have live ammo in it, and Alec Baldwin discharged the gun. I like how they say that in all the articles are like, a gun was discharged. But so basically, Alec Baldwin
He
shot
shot
while
it.
they were
He shot the
filming,
gun.
and it hit the female. I don't know why I said female. It hit the woman who was the cinematographer, and it went through her and then hit like either the director, the DOP.
It was actually the director.
Oh, the director.
I think it was the director.
Yeah. So it hit the director behind her, and he's injured. I don't know how severe his injuries are. The cinematographer died, so that's where we stand. And it's like Alec Baldwin was brought in for questioning and stuff, and everybody's just like, wait, what who are we mad at right now? And it's like, I guess you could be mad at the assistant director because he falsely represented the ammo that was in the gun. I don't know why he did it. If someone told him it was cold, like, basically, I guess they're just going to track this down to whoever put live bullets into the prop gun, and it's that person's fault.
Meanwhile, you look at like this reminded me of Brandon Lee, who
The Crow,
who died on the set of The Crow, like fucking 30 years ago?
Yeah, something like that, like 92, 93.
Jesus Christ, we're fucking old.
We're so old.
So this happened back then, and everyone's reaction was like, "Oh shit! Like, what a senseless tragedy! It's so sad and bizarre that this accident."
That one
happened.
was actually different because that one, what happened was there were blanks in the gun, so the person shot, like, the gun was fired and a blank came out, but then there was still shrapnel from the previous shell in the barrel of the gun. So when they shot the next blank, it propelled pieces from the first bullet out of it, and that's what killed Brandon Lee.
Oh, so there's
It
no
wasn't-
one. There's
Yeah,
no
it
one to
wasn't
blame
an
for that.
actual bullet. It was they didn't clean the gun between rounds being fired.
Well, Dale, whose fucking responsibility was it to clean the
prop
gun
person
between
again.
rounds? I've seen, as we all know, there's a major, maybe we don't all know, there's a major labor dispute happening in Hollywood right now and
Oh,
on
is there?
film sets. What?
I didn't know that.
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, yeah, like a major labor dispute happening for like film, so like the kind of people who would normally be responsible for
like the
this.
support staff.
Yeah, like not
the behind the scenes.
Yeah, not the Screen
gaffers.
Actors Guild, but like, yeah, everyone
And
who
the
like
best
actually
boys.
makes a movie happen.
Mhm.
And they're saying that this person, whoever like was supposed to make sure this gun didn't actually kill a person, was a replacement employee hired to replace a union employee. So basically a scab. And they're saying that this is more, I don't know. It's a bunch of fucking posturing, right? It's like, oh, a person died. And this, either you're like, oh, this is a reason we should eradicate unions forever and burn them to the ground.
No, this is a reason why we need unions, because they stop stuff like this from happening.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and no, that's not fucking, there are plenty of unionized fucking jobs out there where, by the way, I want to say that I'm like staunchly pro-union, but
it doesn't sound like it.
But Derek. You can't say I am like super pro-union, but you can't say that accidents don't happen in unionized workplaces.
No, I know, but unions have all these protocols that most people find annoying until they realize why all those protocols are there. Like, if this wasn't mired in like replacement workers and union strife and people walking off the set and basically the confusion of the behind the scenes staff, this wouldn't have happened. Because if this was like fully operational unionized running set, that gun would have been like checked and rechecked, and it would have been like there would have been all these proper procedures to do it, because obviously somewhere along the chain of this gun being presented to Alec Baldwin, it failed a step of the way because there was live bullets put in it when there shouldn't have been. Like, there shouldn't have even been live bullets on the set.
Yeah,
unless they were using them to like shoot cans or something. I don't know what.
Even then,
I have no idea what they would use live ammo for on a set.
shooting cans, probably.
Yeah.
Noted gun guy Dale DeRuiter weighed in with his hot take. But like,
Yeah.
even in unionized workplaces, people still fucking cut corners. They're like, oh, this is bullshit. And then like none of it really comes. You just like you cut the corner thinking that it's like a small, unimportant thing until one day.
Union.
What?
Policeman's union.
Yeah, until one day fucking someone dies, and then you're like, oh, maybe we should like people are people, and we're always going to do the human thing, and that is to like just kind of slog through our shit in the like laziest way possible to get to the end of the day and hope nobody dies. And I think that's true whether you're in a unionized or non-unionized workforce.
Yeah, it's an evolutionary trait of humans to do the least amount of work possible. And who are we to fight evolution, Derek?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's may the laziest. What the fuck?
So, what? May the laziest person win?
Yeah, whatever it is.
What do you think should personally happen with this?
I don't know. Nothing.
Let's say the incident. You're the incident investigator.
Yeah.
And you have to come up with a solution to what happened on the set of Rust.
Well, I mean, yeah, like do the investigation, find what caused it, because we don't know.
You're the investigator. You're doing the investigation.
Okay, well, here I am investigating the film set. No, I find that there was a fucking bullet. Like, I don't know the cause, and I don't know where. Like, I don't understand enough about film sets to say like these are where the breakdowns happen. I've seen a lot of people yelling about it online. I don't know if those people know what the fuck they're talking about either, but a lot of people are saying like the assistant director, clearly the gun was not checked.
Yeah.
Or inspected prior to someone taking it. And I don't know if that someone was the assistant director or if it was given to the assistant director. And then the assistant director shouldn't have been the person. But like maybe if you have a fucking gun on set and the actor is about to fire it, or actress, I want to be inclusive here, you like do a final fucking check before you start filming. While that gun, like it should be like if you have a gun and an actor's holding it, you do a check while the actor's holding the gun, and then there is a 0% chance, unless the actor is putting bullets in the gun themselves, there's a 0% chance that gun is gonna, not 0% chance, there could still be a fucking Brandon Lee thing.
Yeah,
but
like
you do a check while it is in the actor's hand or actress, and it doesn't leave their, and if it does leave their hand and it comes back, you got to do another check. Yeah,
I agree with you. Like, obviously, at some point in the chain of command or the chain of possession, it failed. For me, I would just trace it back to the person who put live bullets in it and be like, well, you're getting charged with manslaughter or criminal negligence resulting in death.
Even
like,
then, I wouldn't.
Somebody put live bullets in this gun, and that person was wrong. So whoever did that is the person who should be charged with negligence.
Yeah, okay, but look at it this way. Maybe there is a thing on film sets where like they get bored and they go out back and they shoot a few rounds to like fucking, blow off steam or whatever. I
100% think that is not.
Never been on a film set, never will be on a film set. Yeah. No fucking idea. But like,
maybe it's like they just shoot them in the air to blow off steam.
Yeah, or whatever. Like let's say
like a desk pop on that movie, The Wrong Guys, where they convince Will Ferrell that you just shoot your gun at your desk.
Okay, so, but let's say this is like a normal thing, and they do it under the assumption that like, okay, if I put live bullets in this gun, I know it's okay because someone down the line is going to do their job and check this gun and make sure it is responsible for use in a movie set before they hand it to an actor to shoot at someone.
Yeah.
So I don't think, like, unless it can be proven that the person put that bullet in the gun with the intent to injure someone, I don't think they should be held responsible because they loaded the gun based on the assumption that someone would make sure it was unloaded before it was fired.
Yeah. If someone is putting live bullets in the gun, I need to hear why there's live bullets being put in a gun on set.
I hope it's for fucking desk pops.
if they have like a 2-sentence explanation, be like, oh, we do that because of this. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But if it was like, I don't know, then I'd be like, well, you're going to jail, bro. Or
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a fucking,
sister.
at the end of the day, it's a tragic workplace accident. And I don't
Mhm.
know that for every accident that happens, we need to be like, this person is responsible and they should be charged to the fullest
Yeah.
extent of the law to prevent these things from, because they'll still fucking have these things. Accidents are accidents by their nature. They are unplanned. They are
Mhm.
due to carelessness or irresponsibility on usually a wide variety of people's parts. And I don't think
Yeah.
that like any one person should be charged for this. Except Alec Baldwin.
Oh, you think Alec Baldwin should be charged?
No, I'm just fucking around.
Okay.
I just wasn't he
because
the guy?
somebody on Twitter was like, is Alec Baldwin gonna get charged? And I was like, no.
Alec Baldwin didn't Alec Baldwin have the like shitty drunk like abusive phone message against
when he called his daughter a pig.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Fucking charge him for that piece of shit.
If he would have shot his cinematographer during that phone call,
That
then
rant, yeah.
throw him in jail. But those are two entirely different situations. Like the worst part about this whole thing with Alec Baldwin is we can't make jokes about his wife having a fake accent anymore because he killed somebody and it's tragic.
Yeah.
Now we all have to take a step back from Alec Baldwin jokes and just wait.
Give it a week.
Yeah. Also, it's like there's no immediate puns or anything to make about this besides the movie being called Rust, which I don't know. So I'm just honestly, I was like, maybe I should try to make a meme about this, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm just going to let it go because nobody would care anyway. And I think that's what we all have to do. We all have to be like, this is tragic. Let the authorities deal with it, and then hopefully it doesn't fuck with Alec Baldwin too much.
Yeah.
Like I hope he doesn't get like too much PTSD or some shit from this.
I mean, you kill a person. I don't think any normal person can walk away from that and just like get on with their lives.
No, and that's why I hope he. Like, I'm not saying I hope Alec Baldwin's a sociopath and he just fucking blows this off. It's just like, I like Alec Baldwin and I want to see more of him in the future. So I hope this doesn't kind of ruin his life is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like
for
him when
selfish reasons.
Not fucking drunkenly berating his daughter or just being like a loudmouth liberal on Twitter where he's like.
That's true. Where he's being where I don't know if I was rich, I would probably be a loudmouth liberal too, because it's a lot easier to be a liberal when you're fucking rich.
It's a lot easier to be anything when you're fucking rich. You want to know why? Because you're rich.
Yeah.
Want to be a Nazi? If you're rich, you can. If you're poor, good fucking luck.
I mean, I guess it would be a lot easier to be far right wing if you're rich too, because you're like, I want all these taxes gone so I could keep more of my money.
I think the moral of the story here is be rich and you can believe whatever you want. But if you're poor, you're poor, you believe what Dale and I tell you.
That's like I want to be rich enough where I could just forego having a moral compass and just have money instead.
Yeah, that's like
instead of having an angel and a demon voice on my shoulder, I just want piles of money so I don't have to care about the morality of any decision I make.
Well, so there's rich, which is like you can have like a couple million and live comfortably or whatever. But then there's like anymore. There's no moral compass rich, which is like, you know, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or like you could just imagine the fucking it's like, oh, I want to there's like Squid Game rich, like being like, I have enough. Have you not watched Squid Game yet?
Damn. I started watching it and then it was like in subtitles. I was like, all right, I can't play video games and read a show at the same time, so I'm not going to watch this. And it was so boring because it was in black and white. And they're like, this is the childhood game I played as a kid.
Yeah.
And they explained
so you watched the first
20 minutes.
You watched the first 2 minutes of Squid Game.
It was like, they're like, it was so long and drawn out. It's like, and then like shows the scene where this person grabs his shirt and they're like,
okay, are you familiar with the premise though?
No, it's like they play a game so they can make money.
No, the premise of Squid Game is that some shady cabal of like very rich people is paying and bankrolling this game where they bring, I think it's like 400 people or something to this island to play children's games in like a tournament. But if you fail at the children's game, they shoot you and you die. Like that's it. So they're like mass murdering all the people who are failing at these games, but it's bankrolled by like these very wealthy businessmen who want to gamble on the outcome of it. It's kind of like Battle Royale, but
cool. Hunger Games. Or Guns Akimbo or Series 7 or all these other games. Are these people Okay, let me just ask you. I'm
fucking
on the
ask away, bro.
Okay,
ask away.
We should probably be talking about this anyway because it's so popular. Like, look how many episodes we spent on Tiger King, and this is more popular than Tiger King, which
this is Netflix's most popular show ever, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. You can watch it dubbed, right? Because I might do the dubbed version.
You can't. I mean, I personally cannot watch dubbed shit. If people's lips are moving and the sounds don't match, it just fucks me up.
Okay, but here's my problem. They do have a dub. I'm not like one of those people on Twitter where they brag about having ADHD, but I have this thing where I can't pay attention to just a TV show. I have to do something else at the same time, like play video games or draw or
because
play
of
on my phone or whatever.
ADHD.
Yeah. But the problem with watching stuff that's subtitled is you have to watch the screen and you can't do anything else. So it's like, ooh, and then like when I explained how boring and long and drawn out the opening sequence was, that's probably why, because I was like reading, I couldn't do other stuff. So that's why I'm going to try the dubbed version.
Yeah, if you're just like half listening to it and sort of watching, I could see you doing it.
It's also the reason why I watch so much terrible TV, because terrible TV is easier to watch without watching. So it's like just cheesy sitcoms you can just listen to and half watch because you don't have to like see visual clues.
Do you retain anything? Like, do you ever like go back and be like, oh, I've never seen this show before, and then you watch it and you're 4 episodes in and you're like, oh, I half watched this show and I've actually seen it through to its conclusion, but it didn't stick in my brain.
That would happen if I watched it just watching it, because I'll go back and watch like old shows. I'm like, did I watch this? But okay. More questions about Skid Game.
Yeah.
Skid Game.
Skid Game. That's what they played in Enderby all the time.
That fucking weirdo game that they were describing at the beginning, where it was like a square with a circle on top and somebody had to like make a door and run in and out.
Yeah.
Is that the only game they play, or did they play other games?
Spoiler alert for anyone who is watching this or listening to this. Turn the volume down or skip 15 seconds ahead. It is
or grow a sack and just watch it anyway.
It is the very final game they play between the two mainish characters.
Well, that's not really a spoiler alert because they spent an excruciatingly amount of foreshadowing on it by opening the series with it.
They did. I don't even know if it's a real game. I thought it was something that like they invented as kids or something, but then
it's either something they invented or a Korean game.
Yeah.
Question 2. These 400 people that are in this game, do they volunteer or are they involuntarily put in?
Yeah, so the whole show is actually social commentary on the wealth divide in Korea, much like what Parasite was. But they go around and they like recruit very like poor or down on their luck people, or people who are like have gambling debts, or people who have been embezzling from work, or people who are homeless or destitute. So all the people are there of their own volition.
So is this like you can go to jail or you can do this as well type of thing? Like the movie Running Man?
No, what is jail isn't on the table.
Okay, because I thought like when you're saying gambling debts or whatever, they could go to people and be like, all right, you have all these debts. You are embezzling, which is a crime, so you're gonna go to jail. Or
I mean, some of the characters definitely will, but I think it's more like whatever your story is, you can stay here and run the risk of death to win all this money. And it's like for every person that dies, there's like $1 million or like $1 million Korean dollars added to the pot.
Oh, okay.
Whereas, or you can go back to your like shitty fucking, and like couple episodes in, they give people, once they realize that people are going to die. Okay, this is another spoiler alert. Once they realize that people are dying from these games because they do red light, green light, which is like, and then like while red light, green light is happening, people who are moving after red light just get like mowed down by these fucking machine guns, and everyone's freaking out. And after that game, they give people the option and they say, if the majority of you vote to disband this game, we'll stop it and we'll return everyone home. And so the majority of people, spoiler alert, the majority of people do vote to end the game, and they all go home. And then once they see how shitty their lives are back at home, or they're reminded of it, they're like, oh fuck, and then they go back to the island for like round 2.
Oh snap. So it's also like that movie The Experiment type of deal, where they're like, well, it's not really like that, I guess, but it's like, it's weird because it's like you're talking about this, and it's like this culmination of like the last 20 years of social commentary movies. Like, I'm hearing stuff like from like what I said before, like Series 7, Battle Royale, Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, and all this stuff. I was thinking of more. Oh, The Experiment, which I was thinking about.
Yeah, and mostly I think it's just a commentary on like what people will subject themselves to when they are desperate enough. Which we also saw in incredible shows like Bum Fights back in the day.
That's true.
But it's jokes aside, it's a fucking great show. Everyone should check it out. And again, like people are there of their what, Dale?
I would kind of like the show more if it was like a nefarious, if it wasn't like a cabal exploiting people's own greed and being like, you could go this and you get money. It would be kind of more entertaining if there's like the shadow, like if they showed up at this place and they didn't know why they were there. Like that's one of the things I always like about these types of shows. Like in The Maze Runner, they show up in the middle of this maze and then nobody knows why the fuck they're there. So part of the show or movie is them trying to solve the mystery of how they ended up in this situation. But if it's just like, oh, I'm here because I'm dumb and I'm poor.
Well, so at first they have no idea until after that first game where they actually explain it to them. And it's also it's interesting because the shadowy overlords overseeing the game are like they're like very intent on making sure that like everyone has equal opportunity within, even though they're all fucking being murdered, they want everyone to have like the same opportunity to win because they think it's like
so it's like there's an honor, like I guess that would be a nice thing because it came from Korea, there's this whole like built-in honor system where it has to be fair, like the games have to be fair. Like if this was made by like an American studio or whatever, you could guess that like backstabbing and secrecy would be like really ingrained in the plot, like Survivor or something, where it's like you kind of scheme against each other. But since it was from Korea, they're like trying everything to make it fair. Which honestly, I guess would make it better.
You can just wait, and there will undoubtedly be an American remake of the show within the next few years based on the success they've seen.
I could see them making a game show where they don't kill people, but they do everything like this, but you don't get killed or you get shot with paintballs or something.
I think it's just a matter of time before we see like actual like fights to the death on it didn't take the fucking Romans to get to exist for that long before they turned to like gladiator fights to entertain people. So
yeah, but that started with them killing slaves and the undesirables. I think the problem now is it's, as much as people are trying, it's taking too much effort to dehumanize a group of people to the point where people would be okay watching them getting beaten to death.
I don't know about that.
As bad as society is, we're not at the level of like Nazi Germany where the Jewish people were fully dehumanized, so people had no emotional attachment to them living or dying. Like I
think now it's more you see it that's more of like a class thing versus, and I'm sure like the wealthy people or the 1%ers that we're talking about, they don't give a fuck about like you or me or the common people, and they definitely do not give a fuck about like really poor people or
Yeah.
homeless people. So
I think
who
right now
knows,
we're
man?
at the point where, like with anti-vaxxers and stuff, where people are like, they should lose their jobs. Like, we're not okay with people beating each other to death, but a lot of people are okay with people losing their livelihood. And just like, because it's like, it's not like they die and you have to deal with the thought of their mortality and the existential crisis of like a society that's killing each other, but it's like they lose their job and they just kind of go away and you don't have to worry about it. Like, if someone loses their livelihood, then it's like it is kind of a bad turn and they might end up actually starving to death or dying, but you don't have to think about that. So you don't have to think about like the ultimate repercussions of being like, well, if that person doesn't get vaccinated, they shouldn't have a job and they should just go away from society and then I won't have to deal with it.
Can we talk about that? Because on top, I mean, we only have a few minutes left here in the episode, but in addition to, so a lot of private employers and public employers, like the government of Canada, have announced that basically you have to get vaccinated if you wish to remain employed. Which fine, whatever. Like, that is their right as businesses. But now the government of Canada came out this week and said, if you lose your job for not meeting one of your employer's requirements, which would be to get vaccinated, that means you're willingly walking away from this job, and you will not be eligible for employment insurance, which is Canada's kind of social safety net. It's like one step above welfare, basically, where.
But I do want to explain, it is a system where we all pay in. Like, it's still an insurance. It's not a complete social safety net. It's like me and you, every time we have a paycheck, the government takes a chunk out for employment insurance. And then when we go on employment insurance, we're pulling from the pool that we paid into. So it's not like the government's just giving out money to people. It's people are taking from the pool that everybody paid into.
Yes.
Which is being just a nitpicky thing, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. So the government of Canada is essentially saying, if people do not get vaccinated, not only will they lose their jobs, but they will not be able to collect EI while they look for a new job. So they're basically, so now it's starting, like, at first when it was just the private or the public or private or public employers saying you have to get vaccinated, I was like, fine, fuck, whatever. Like, that's not a big deal because these people have the option to like go and get another job elsewhere. And they at least have access to like a safety net while they do so, because I don't think a lot of the people who are still vaccine hesitant, I don't believe that they are like malicious or mean-spirited or ill-willed people. I think they are people who are scared, probably, which is true, and people who want to essentially, like, they want to have feel some level of dominion over what they're putting into their bodies.
Yeah, exactly. Or some people just don't trust the process and they think it will adversely affect their health in the future, which, I mean, I didn't care about that because I was a cigarette smoker theoretically. So it all boils down to that, where it's like, I don't give a fuck. I smoke cigarettes. Those are the worst things
like,
for you. So I've already done irreparable harm to my body. But there are people who believe that there's going to be like I've heard like you'll get soft tissue cancer and stuff within the next 5 to 10 years, which is like, yeah, you might but the other thing is, it's like, you're still, no matter what the bad side effects are from the vaccine, it's probably going to be worse from actually getting COVID. Like, now they're saying you get brain damage from it. Or
well, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, well, we don't know what the long-term effects of the vaccine are. And it's like, well, yeah, but we also have zero idea what the long-term effect of COVID are. And more of the studies of the long-term effect of COVID are showing us that, like, yeah, it isn't, even if you have like a relatively like chill bout with COVID and like, or you're asymptomatic, this thing could like fuck you up for years down the line.
So the thing is, like, I think a lot of the problems, like all the problems basically with the vaccine, from what I can parse from all the super amount of very clear information we're fed every day that tells us straightforward is that a lot of the side effects are coming from the spike protein that they're putting in your body. But the coronavirus has the spike protein too. So to me, I keep hearing that yes, there are side effects from the vaccine, but those side effects are like X amount worse if you were to get COVID. So like if I got the vaccine and I had a side effect from it, if I would have just got COVID, it would have been worse.
Yes.
So, but at the same point, like to me, it makes sense to get the vaccine, but I don't think people should lose their job for not wanting to get the vaccine, because especially because we're at 85% vaccinated. So there's only 15% of people that aren't vaccinated running around. And it's kind of like there's so many people vaccinated that is it really going to sink society if we stop these people? Whereas if we just fire these people and we don't give them like financial support, we're going to fuck over society because we're already like the supply chain's already fucked up. We don't have enough like medical staff. And it's like, I think this is just going to blow up in the government's faces because we're facing a labor shortage right now. Like you talk to anybody that's in charge of hiring for any sort of business and they can't find people to work. So if we take away from the pool of possible workers and make it even smaller, then what are we going to do? Just kind of hope that magically there's more people who can work, or the people who are vaccinated feel like working themselves ragged?
Yeah, like I think so. I want to say that I am in favor of like businesses being able to set their own policies around vaccination. And if they
Mhm.
want to fire people, I mean, there are a number of businesses out there that have just been taken for a fucking ride by COVID. And if they don't want to run the risk of their business getting shut down or like even having to close down for a
Mhm.
significant period of time because of a COVID outbreak in their office, they have every right to say they require employees to be vaccinated. And if employees can't be vaccinated, then those employees are no longer welcome to work there. Like, I think that's okay. I think where I have a problem is where a government that allegedly is supposed to govern for all of the people in
Mhm.
the country, whether they are rich or poor or smart or dumb or vaccinated or unvaccinated, saying, okay, if you lose your job because of this, we're also like, you have no access to the social safety net. So good fucking luck, end up homeless. Like, take your moral stance to the streets, because that's where you're going to end. And these are like people affected by this are they're fucking, there's families with children, and like
Mhm.
those children aren't to blame because their fucking parents won't get vaccinated, but those kids are going to be impacted by these policies all the same.
Yeah.
Where if mom and dad lose their job because they're refusing to get a vaccine, and then the government basically says, you know, tough shit, you're out on the streets, that's not something that a government should be doing.
Yeah, like we all brag about how Canada's like got this like nice social safety net, and it's not like the Wild West like the States where you could just get fired for whatever. Like Canada has all these nice labor laws, so you technically don't always need a union because there's labor laws in place that protect the workers and stuff. But then they go and fucking do something like this. Like if they do this and it goes through, I want to see information. Like they say Facebook has all this info on everybody, one of us. So I want to see the info on what happens to these people after they get shit canned and they can't get like EI. Is the government going to track what happens to them and like how many of them suffer greatly, or like how many like people end up homeless because of this and stuff like that? Like, I don't really think the pandemic, especially 2 years in, I don't think we should be doing stuff like this because it's like everybody's had it hard enough. And I don't know, it's weird because it's like, I feel like in general, society's kind of almost at a powder keg status where it's like, because it's like people are just popping off. Like you see more road rage and stuff because everybody's got this like boiling anger and fear, like, because we don't know what's going to happen. What if they do this and people just like fucking, it turns into like another BLM protest thing where it's like, it just sparks it off and everybody's like, yeah, we don't have to fucking take this anymore. And people just lose their shit. Like we should be
I mean,
calming people down and making life easier for everybody. We shouldn't just be like, this is the group of people we're going to actively fuck over because fuck them. They're not doing what we tell them to.
yeah. I will say that, like, if you're listening to this and you do happen to be an unvaccinated person, I respect your beliefs and your rights. Get the fucking vaccine, you dumb shit. Like this, it's generally, I mean, it's much safer than COVID. That is well established. It protects you against COVID. That is well established.
Yeah.
Now you're just kind of digging in based on what you believe is principle, and you're fucked if you do that, because governments are on board, private businesses are on board. You aren't fucking traveling anywhere if you're unvaccinated. Like, I hope you like fucking Alberta, because that's going to be the only place you're going to be able to go. And like, at this point, you are doing irreparable harm to yourself and your family for something that you believe is a principled stance. And like, take the L, get the vaccine, find another thing to fight the fucking government on. There's plenty. You can argue them about taxes or their stance on climate or Justin Trudeau's hair or whatever the fuck else you want. But like, the vaccine, this government was just elected. You're not going to wait out for the next 3 years until we have the next election. Like, you're not going to, I don't think, and a lot of people smarter than me don't think COVID's going anywhere. So like, what is your end game here if you're still refusing to get vaccinated?
And I just want to, dear conspiracy theorists, fellow conspiracy theories, lean in.
There you go. Talk to your people, Dave.
I've got some information to share for you. Like, we're almost at the point where it's socially acceptable to admit this came from the lab. Like, they just, like, science.org released an article yesterday saying, like, here's like a sentence from it. A US-based nonprofit in 2018 and 19 at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China had the unexpected result of creating a coronavirus that was more infectious in mice. Like, we're half a step away from saying this was made in the Wuhan lab by US funding. So this might be, you might be telling yourself, yeah, that's what I think, and that's a reason I'm not getting vaccine. But no, that's a reason to get the vaccine. Because if this was made in a lab and it was by some shadowy people trying to like make some stuff, those are the same shadowy people who made the vaccine. So they know what they're doing. Because even like, if this was made in a lab, then the vaccine should work even better because they know what they're working with and they have the pre-lab samples and they can make even better vaccines. So what I'm saying is, if you're into the conspiracy theories of all of this like whole pandemic thing, that should be more reason to get vaccinated and not less. Because,
go,
and
Dale.
and if you're thinking this whole thing, like the one conspiracy where you're thinking this is like a thing to like a new world order way to cull the population and to lower the number of people on earth so people get more pieces of the pie, that's another reason to get the vaccine. Because if they're killing people, they're going to kill the people who don't listen and do what they're told. And yeah, it sucks, but live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Take the vaccine and then we drain the swamps.
Well, if that's the argument, it's funny because Bill Burr made that point
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say Bill Burr was saying that too. Yeah,
that he's like, okay, if the new world order is killing people, it's not going to be the subservient people who fucking listen and take the vaccine. It's going to be the people who don't. So yeah, just like, get the fucking virus. Like, this is honestly not a lot is going to change.
You said get the virus. I think you meant get the vaccine.
Either or, get the virus or the vaccine. They both offer the same level of protection. But like, honestly, at this point, like, you're running out of fucking options, and I understand what it's like to feel like trapped and have your back against the wall. And that fucking sucks for you, but like, get the fucking vaccine.
Oh, and another group of people I want to mention is all my fellow Joe Rogan listeners. We're not Joe Rogan. We're not healthy enough. We're not spending our entire Spotify fortune trying to chase away the Grim Reaper by doing everything we can to make ourselves live longer. We're just fucking half-assing it. Every one of Joe Rogan's friends got vaccinated. Joe Rogan didn't get vaccinated, but he's doing stuff like getting fucking stem cells shot into his shoulders whenever they get sore.
Well, yeah.
He's fucking
When Joe
going
Rogan
in.
got COVID, didn't he get like fucking like I don't even know what it was, like
He
gene
got like
therapy and blood
100 things
transfusions and
shot
fucking like
into him.
yeah, like
Yeah, he got like an NAD drip. He got like fucking ivermectin. He got this other chemicals. He got like 5 super like this NAD drip thing. It's so strong they give it to you over 2 hours because it's like so many vitamins that go into your belly or whatever. But he's doing shit like this. Like like I said, he's getting stem cell shit. He's getting blood plasma work. He's fucking getting his telomeres extended by science. He's fucking going in ice baths. He's sauning every day.
he's microdosing fucking
Yeah.
LSD or whatever. Mushrooms.
It's like if there's a thing that makes you live longer, Joe Rogan's already doing that. And I'm not doing any of that. I'm too lazy to probably even eat properly. So
Sure, he is.
even if he didn't get vaccinated, I'd say you probably should because you're not that healthy.
Yeah, and you don't have a Spotify paycheck to throw at staying
and you're
healthy,
not getting your fucking telomeres lengthened, buddy. So just go get it.
All right. On that note, I gotta go fucking pack some processed food into my child. So hey, thanks everyone.
We'll save it for next time.
What?
I don't even want to bring it up because you want to go. So
yeah, don't bring it up because I do want to go. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode 187 of Outrage Factory. I've been your co-host Derek Bolin.
I've been your other co-host Dale DeRuiter.
Dale, where can the people follow you online? Because they can no longer follow me.
You can follow me on Twitter at SuperDaleBot. The podcast Twitter is at OutrageFactPod. You can follow us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/OutrageFactPod. Send us a Gmail, OutrageFactPod@gmail. We're on Instagram, Outrage Factory.
We're on TikTok.
We're on TikTok under Dale DeRuiter because I didn't know how to set up it's basically the TikTok's under my name because I'm an old person and I don't know how to set up a separate TikTok.
Classic old person. Wherever you get your podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. And until next week,
stay angry.
Beep, boop, 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 boop.